Well, good morning to you once again. It's a light and jolly morning with me here in studio as we get to look at celebrating the International Accounting Day. Yes, they also do have an international day that they get to collectively celebrate their practice. The backbone of it being that November 10th is designated as the International Accounting Day, and this was since the year 2000, created by the International Federation of Accountants. But the history of accounting as an established practicing thing is dating back to several thousands of years, even before any of us in studio were born. Records and documents originating far back as 5000 BC reveal the employment of accounting systems in the service of tracking the exchange of goods between temples, meaning that though the practice and the profession of accounting may seem boring to some people, it is vital for every business's survival. Ask URA, who has been making sure that you keep your books up to date. So today we get to celebrate International Accounting Day here in morning at NTV with a certified public accountant, Nicholas Mushaventa. Good morning to you.
Morning to you.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Very good. We are also joined by a certified public accountant, Mr. Arnold Ahereza. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be in your company.
Thank you. Thanks
So
for having
we
us.
want to first understand the International Accounting Day. What's the significance? Let me start with you, Nicholas.
It is most important to us, to the profession, in a way that we use this day to promote the accountancy profession, especially to the young generation, in a way that they get to appreciate the role of accountants.
Okay, all right. And on a personal level, Arnold, why did you choose accounting?
Wow, mine was very personal. My dad was an accountant.
Okay.
So once I had a lot of respect for him. Once I got to know him, I loved the profession. And my teachers used to tell me I was good at math. So led me to accounting. I fell in love with it. And looking back, no regrets.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the role of your accounting profession to the business community, but really to all of commerce?
So today I am a public accountant. I'm in public practice, which means I get the opportunity to audit, review, validate, and issue audit opinions on financial statements. My role there is to support our clients, support them in all their endeavors to run their businesses. You've talked of URA, their tax compliance, to help them structure and run their businesses well. That is our overriding role. And in that we also contribute to the economy in terms of the revenues that are being generated, in terms of ensuring that businesses are run well, prudently, and they are sustainable. Yes.
Okay. All right. When we look at the ICPAU in regards to its contribution to society, especially when it comes to the business community, what would you say has been the biggest contribution, Nicholas?
The biggest contribution is that as the institute, we actually ensure that the members of the institute appreciate the ethical standards for which they help the community to implement best practices. As accountants, we act in public interest in a way that the members ensure that what they do is for the welfare of the society, not for the interest of themselves as individuals. Of course, we might have had just a few one-offs, but to a greater extent, the institute has ensured that in due course of the different years, in fact, it holds the economic forum for which they generate different discussions, come up with policy recommendations. They are submitted to the Ministry of Finance for implementation, and this has largely contributed much to the economic development of the country.
Okay. People get to work with accountants, but the general society does not have the knowledge that it has to be a certified, it's best to have or use a certified accountant. Yes. So could you help them understand exactly how they can verify that their accountants are actually certified?
Yes, the institute issues the list of certified public accountants of Uganda. It's mandated as per the Act. So the members, especially in terms of the business community, if you'd like to engage an accountant, you check on the website and appreciate who are actually the members of the institute. Because in terms of the wider community, we have so many whom we call quack accountants.
Yeah.
And the only best way to understand is to check with the institute, either through the social media or through their website, for which the list of the members is actually published. Otherwise, in terms of Accountants Act, the accountant we are referring to is the one you've indicated, the certified public accountant. And in terms of the Accountants Act, you only become an accountant if you're registered as a member with the institute, for which you can qualify to become an accountant. And for accountants, it's not necessarily about the skill, it's not about the knowledge, but it's about you being regulated by the institute, for which that when you're under the institute's supervision, the institute and the accountancy profession were aware that you know what you're supposed to be doing, especially from the ethical perspective, that you're not this person who is engaged in undesired practices. And that's one of the best ways that to the wider community, they need to always check out with the institute. From the accounting services like audit firms, you still check through the list that is published by the institute. You get to know who are actually the valid accountants that are licensed and having certificate of practices to actually offer accounting services. In fact, currently, the message to be clear is that because of one of its mandate where it's supposed to be conducting quality reviews, the institute realized that actually some accountants are not having all the necessary skills to offer all the different accounting services. So we have the likes of audit and assurance services, the non-assurance services, which involves like tax consultants, business advisory. So currently there's a practice or an issuance that has been made that not all accountants, there's this specialized area of audit and assurance that we are soon going to be separating. There are those who are going to be purely allowed to be offering all the different accounting services, and based on your experience, based on the knowledge and the competence that you have submitted to the institute, you're likely to be allowed to be doing only the tax and other related non-assurance services. So it's important for the public to watch out when the communications and the listing is issued, especially to know who is eligible to offer which type of accounting service.
Okay, that's that's a twist.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Arnold, in regards to the role of a certified public accounting to national development, talk to us about that.
Sure, thank you. Like Nicholas mentioned, accountants are mandated to work in public interest. So that means that we are there to protect the interests of the public. And so our contribution to national development, one, is with regard to our contribution on policy. In our engagements, our discussions, we do make submissions to government. And this was, for example, at the recently concluded CPA forum, where we raised submissions on proposals towards the 2024-25 budget. And as practitioners in the industry, we believe that we have a contribution and a voice to make in that regard. Yes, that is one key one that I would highlight.
Okay, now let's reverse it. That's what you do to aid government in actually supporting national development. Now, how would you want government to support the accounting profession in order to get your work done easily?
Okay. For starters, the institute was a creation of law. So at its inception, government did an amazing job to provide grants and support and nurture the institute to what it is today. So kudos to them for empowering the institute.
Okay.
In terms of what they can do going forward, it's one, the Accountants Act provides that for senior management positions, they should be filled by a public accountant. So we would actually want government to consider where these top positions are filled by professional accountants, who by law are the certified public accountants. And then 2, it's to listen and implement these policy recommendations that are submitted from the Institute. And then, of course, 3, to support the training and the professionalism around the people who serve in these offices.
Okay.
Can I supplement?
Yes, please.
Yeah, there is, I think, one more other key request that would like the government to support us. He has already mentioned they are helping us and supporting the accountancy profession implementing the Accountants Act, in which he has indicated, especially for the Accountants Act, indicating the heads of audit, the heads of finance and accounting in the entities that have a public interest, which basically the parastatals, the government units, and any private entity that in which a government has a stake, it's a public interest entity. And those are expected, as per the Accountants Act, that the only senior management personnel in the finance department must be the members of the institute. So we are asking to give in more efforts, because based on our insider information, not all the institutions are actually currently complying. And the other most important aspect is the still hoping the accountants enable the specific environment for specific laws that can support our work. The one of the critical aspects is that as per the Tax Procedures Code Act, all business entities, all the taxpayers whose annual turnover is above 500 million, they're supposed to be filing their tax returns with the URA, but with audited financial statements that have been certified by an accountant who's registered with the institute. Based on our statistics, we are not very sure if all the business entities that lie within that thresholds that are actually complying with that. And as accountants, we must be missing out, failing to fulfill fully our responsibilities, our laws, given the fact that some institutions may not actually be calling us, because we can't force ourselves there to say we need to audit your financial statements. So that's one of other key areas that they can support us, ensure that some of those specific laws, the laws and regulations that support our work as accountants, are actually put into.
Okay, so that sounds like a challenge. What are the challenges being faced by the profession?
I think one of it is the public image of saying accountants are actually so involved in some of undesired practices, and sometimes for some of us who have discussed with our colleagues, especially in the government sector, they indicate that are normally put under pressure. There's a survey that the Institute conducted in 2019, and one of the key challenges the accountants in public sector emphasized was that influence from the other colleagues at workplace, and at the end of it, when things go wrong,
falsify.
Then at the end of it, they think the accountant, you're part of the actions. When in actual sense, for you did your part, but because they normally involve issues of finances, and they think we are the custodians of the finances, we are part of such undesired practices. The other aspect is actually the public actually appreciate the value and the role of accountants. We are here to appreciate, in terms of even the outside there, the business community, realize that regardless of even such an act saying, for senior accounting positions, you need to have a member of a member who is registered with the institute, and you still find that people are not interested in having the best accountants, especially even in the private sector. Sometimes for not only for family business, but even for recognized businesses, they just either focus on the cost, because Nicholas is likely, who is a CPA, is likely to ask for this specific amount of money. They trade with cost minimization on an expense on the value to which the accountants play in terms of the business development, business success, and at large the national development.
Which begs the question, Arnold, how do we change this narrative? Because at the end of the day, where the world is moving towards, it's very paramount that these professions are recognized right from grassroots level of any business. It doesn't have to be the 500 million plus kind of businesses. Even the 1 million kind of businesses who have a capital of 1 million or less should also start appreciating the small elements of accounting in their, their structuring. So how do we advocate for that?
This is a start. This is a start, and this platform, the opportunity for members to speak out. And two, it's the work that is being done by the Institute. The Institute is reaching out to engage the community and to have dialogue and to use all possible platforms, social media, print media, to get the message out. And the key message sometimes is to say, who is an accountant? What's that definition of an accountant? Is it anyone who can add up numbers? Can they be called an accountant? Is that enough? In September, the Institute ran the forum at which they recognized individuals and firms that are contributing greatly and immensely and that are standing out. So initiatives such as those, so Nicholas, for example, last year was the CPA of the year. That was a recognition where the Institute is saying, you stood out. Yeah. My firm, Adenfield CPA, we were the proud recipients of the CPA Accounting Firm of the Year Award for the current year. Initiatives like these put a spotlight on individuals and firms that are doing things right. And we believe that they will change the narrative. Okay. Yes.
All right. Well, that's definitely promising. So let's talk about the Accounting Day. It's here, and so I know that the celebrations that we are meant to be part of. I'm inviting myself officially. Yes. But Nicholas, what are the celebrations like for the day?
We have a couple of activities from the accountancy profession. The Institute has organized pro bono services, and we arranged in terms of the different regions. One in the West Nile.
They better be regional. Yes,
everyone
must
benefit. In fact, currently, we feel like Kampala, of course, is already sorted.
Exactly. So, yes.
The key areas that we focused on: the West Nile, the West region, the Western region, the Eastern region, for which the communications have been made, the publicity has been made. Currently, as I talk, people are running to those different locations to receive guidance, any related accounting service for which they are going to get it at a no cost. Yeah. So otherwise, then of course, in respect to such initiatives all over the country, we are telling accountants, please brand yourselves. The reason you see we are putting on the branded shirts. At the same time, indicate what you like, why do you love accounting, so that we create that awareness. We help the community to appreciate the role of accountant, and we inspire especially the future generation.
Yes. Speaking of inspiration, let me leave Arnold to do the closing remarks of inspiration, because science and technology are taking over the space. So there's no advocacy for accountants, when it comes to higher education consumption. Let's talk about that as you come to a conclusion.
Yes, thank you. Advocacy is key, and we do believe that while sciences are needed, as long as we have business, the role of the accountant is very much alive and well, and it's something that we have to promote. So part of the advocacy work that the Institute and the members are doing is to reach out to the younger generation, to interest them in the right definition of an accountant, and we believe that that is extremely important. The Institute runs professional courses, the Certified Public Accountant, the Certified Tax, the CTA, the tax professionals, and there is a call for the future generation to pick an interest in not only studying the bachelor's courses, but go the extra mile and get certified, because that's the only way you will become a certified public accountant.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. And I feel like I should go back to school and give this accounting one more try. But today is the day, so they get to celebrate the International Accounting Day. And as you've heard, you can get over to their social media platforms to be able to get to know where exactly in the different regions, the east of Uganda, west of Uganda, and the West Nile, those are the key points in which they're going to be offering pro bono services. So hurry while stocks last. Thank you so much for having been a part of this discussion. We take a short breather, return shortly.